It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Now, here's a headline I love from the liberal New Republic. Trump's crackdown on anti-Semitism is making Jews less safe.
Okay.
Trump administration's cynical use of anti-Semitism to justify a crackdown will endanger many Jews. And you know why? Let's see where this person stands. Let me see who wrote the article here. Emily Tamkin wrote the article, and it goes through, the arrest of the Palestinian green card holder, the one who was involved in campus protest and began preparations to deport him and everything else. They go through that. And the President Trump delivered a warning to student activists and university administrators. We will find, apprehend, and deport these terrorist sympathizers from our country, never to return again. If you support terrorism, including the slaughter of innocent men, women, and children, your presence is contrary to our national and foreign policy interests, and you are not welcome here. We expect every one of America's colleges and universities to comply. Student activists like Khalil, he wrote, "We're not protesters, but paid actors engaging in pro-terrorist, anti-Semitic, and anti-American activity." In actuality, these developments are not about fighting anti-Semitism or, for that matter, keeping Jews safe. Rather, this appears to me to be a cynical ploy by an administration full of people who promote and enable anti-Semitic conspiracies, which is fixated on attacking higher education, free speech, free assembly, and due process norms by using Jews, Jewish fear, and anti-Semitism as a pretense to do that. I am not alone in this view. Columbia's administration has bent over backwards to satisfy the Trump administration with the creation of a massive new Office of Institutional Equity and new training protocols, said a professor of South Asian Studies at Columbia University. Nothing has worked because this onslaught has nothing to do with actual anti-Semitism, entirely legitimate criticism of Israel's massive ethnic cleansing campaign.
Wow.
Right there, you know where she stands.
Yeah.
She's pro-Hamas.
Of course. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Right.
It's like you have to go a little ways in there to find out where she is. Then you find out where she is.
Yeah.
She's pro-Hamas.
Of course.
And we always know that the people that are pro-Hamas are the ones that we can totally trust and depend on to ensure that Jews are safe in Israel and the United States.
Well, that's it. When the premise sounds like, oh, he's going to, when you hear it, oh, he's going to make it more dangerous for Jews, then you have to read all the way through it to know
exactly.
What they're trying to do, where they're actually going and what side they're on, which is very clear.
Exactly. That wasn't too hard to come to where that conclusion is. Another story here. This is a Fox News social media explodes update. Almost every day you can read Fox News, and there's a story in there that says social media explodes.
Social media explodes
over some particular issue. And our point is they've been doing it almost every day for a significant period of time because social media explodes every day. That should be the news. Social media does not explode today. That would be news.
Exactly.
But this is still an interesting article. Social media explodes after Democratic senator makes insulting remark about the brains of Trump voters. Remember, you and I are both Trump voters. So let's see where she goes here. Okay. And let's see if we are as insulted as Levitt was yesterday on the podium at the White House.
Right. Well, I have to Google the definition of insulting, but go ahead.
Let me see.
Because I'm too stupid to know.
Representing a state here, people voted for Trump and voted for me. I have a responsibility to represent my entire state. Alyssa Slotkin said on ABC's The View. but I don't think there's anyone who feels like what's going on right now is normal, even if you voted for Trump. Right? I think there is a feeling in this country, and I often say this, we're about to turn 250 years old, right? We're still pretty young for a country. These are like our angry teenage years. We are going through this push and pull where we're happy, we're sad, we want this, we want that. And what do you do when you have a teenager threatening themselves and others? You just try to get them through this period alive so that their brain can fully form and you can come back to kind of what? Slotkin said before being cut off by Joy Behar. Are you talking about Trump? Behar asked. No, I'm talking about our country. We're a pendulum swinging. We're a pendulum swinging. What is this? Mm-hmm. Tony, 2 times? I don't think there is an American that thinks this is normal. Slotkin's comments were widely interpreted by conservatives on social media as a slight to Trump voters.
Yeah. Who else are you talking about? Or are you talking Kamala voters? Please answer the question and be specific.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, we got to. I mean, it's so far away, but it is humorous. All the stuff of, the analysis of could Kamala win in California? I think it was National Review saying, "Oh yeah, she would win in California.
Yeah,
they would vote for her." That's
sure.
True. That's because California has basically become Kamala Harris's mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she could win. Yeah.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that'll straighten out California.
Oh, I think it would be the way to go. Our conservative friends in California, guys, shut up.
Tim Walz is expected to become the next governor of Canada.
Yeah. Right. Raise your hands in the air.
Oh, my gosh.
Both of them. And jump up and down. Yeah.
Well, all right. 2 things we got to talk about.
All right. What do we got?
I'm shocked, and not much shocks me.
Mm.
But since I've been a radio talk show host since 89,
right.
October of 89 is when I started doing talk radio.
1989.
I don't appreciate that because you're making it sound like 1989 is longer time ago than it actually is. 1989.
1989. Every talk show started with "Hear ye, hear ye."
I was listening to a song yesterday that was talking about where will I be in the 21st century, and it was the name of the song was like 20th century, and it was done in 1979. I remember hearing the song in 79 and thinking, "Oh, damn, that's so long from now," and we're a quarter of a way through it.
Yeah.
How the hell did that happen? But when you see the Department of Education and the dismantling of it, and really not a peep, it's an issue that people have talked about and the left screamed about because getting rid of the Department of Education was a topic and a talk radio topic when I started in talk radio.
It got to be the discussion about dismantling it almost got to full level urban myth status in that a lot of us conservatives thought, yeah, but it's never going to happen.
And it won't happen because if you attempt it, there will be massive protests of millions of people.
Right.
The only protesting I'm seeing right now in the United States that isn't still what it was is the pro-terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
It's really all you're seeing.
Right.
The anti-Semites, that's who you're seeing out there.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing on this. Nothing.
No.
I mean, it's just unbelievable how quickly things have changed. And you take that and you put it together with the Black Lives Matter street mural in Washington. They got taking jackhammers to it.
Yeah, right.
Nothing. I mean,
Nothing.
a couple of Congress people talking about it, and in Congress they are, but when you talk about the top down or the down to the top, nobody down. I mean, the masses don't care.
Right. No, they don't.
There's
There's zero energy left in that.
That's where I look at it, and I'm like, is there a much more massive shift happening in this country than we even saw in November?
I have to wonder. Because you think about, okay, it's one thing, for the shift to be in place. It's a different animal when you talk about getting people to vote a certain way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you could have a monumental shift and this huge groundswell in a changing of the mindset overall of the social issues of the day, a huge rejection of those issues, and not quite see what even though Trump won, are we just not there yet in terms of getting those individuals to the polls? It's something I've been wondering about. We call it the awakening. Forget about woke, the awakening. Because we've seen, a number of prominent Democrats, Mark Pincus, Michael Rappaport, and others who have gone through that. And it's been within the last year for them, for those two specifically. But how many people do each of them represent? Remember the one lady who, I forget what setting that was, but she had made the comment, I cried for days when Hillary lost in 2016, but I'm voting for Trump this time.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Well, again, as a nation, are we shedding these, individuals, many of these individuals? I mean, I don't know what it would take for me to lie around for days and cry because the person I voted for didn't win. Oh, my gosh.
And you're a crier.
Oh, I love to cry. I was just crying at a Wendy's commercial during the break.
Because you couldn't have the burger.
It's called the Baconator. What is not right with that? Oh, my gosh.
Wait a
Everything
minute.
is right.
Wait a minute.
What?
How's it being cooked? With what?
I don't know. Fire?
No.
Beef?
Is it RFK approved?
Beef tallow? Well, it's beef, so I'm assuming.
Oh, my gosh.
There's
You told me yesterday, very quickly, you told me yesterday the thing of Sean Hannity on with RFK Jr.
Yeah, because
and was
Steak and Shake is cooking their fries now in beef tallow.
And the conservative influencer, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Kirk, who, by the way, has done some some of the stuff he's done, I've gone, whatever. But when he talks to the college students, as he did during the campaign, that was great stuff.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was really great.
Yeah.
But the posts that he had on it, oh, my God.
Well,
it's like
stop it.
Stop it.
What
did it say? The courage?
Is it worth mentioning?
Yeah, it is.
It's worth mentioning. Is it worth doing a full sit-down broadcast from the lobby while eating fries? Listen, if they said to us...
No, but it's what Charlie Kirk, what he said about it.
And I know.
How brave they were.
Right.
Or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
what
that.
it was. This is, bravely
Yes.
cooking their fries in beef tallow.
It was,
Let's revisit the building of this country and
or courageous, whatever it was, brave.
no, they're bravely.
Was it bravely?
Yeah.
Because you were like bravely.
Let's be careful where we apply the word. because things like history, Normandy,
Right, when we talk bravery, we use that
if you
term.
want to talk about using beef tallow to, hey, it's a concept. Bravely isn't a word I would apply to.
And you know what I saw in that when it was promoted by the administration yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
There were a ton of people criticizing, saying that there's some chemical in that we shouldn't be ingesting. I'm like,
well, no,
this is never going to end.
I was waiting for and it all comes down to this, because what I was watching on the sit down with Sean was RFK Jr.'s face when they brought out fast food and put it in front of RFK Jr. Because it was like, I guess we're doing this, huh? It's the guy that signs up to eat the, 10-pound steak, and if he eats it all in an hour, he gets it for free. That kind of, it's like, oh, I can't believe I agreed to do this. Kind of look on his face. I love Steak and Shake. I think it's great. We used to have one across from our old studios when we were
I remember.
back in the day. Yeah. But it's, again, I wouldn't apply the word bravely.
That was funny, bravely.
Yeah.
But when you see the change and how quickly it happened, and I guess I wonder, especially with young people, is part of the reversal of young people towards Trump is because they were intimidated, they were threatened on college
I
campuses.
have to believe that's what's going on here.
That they realized the brainwashing that they were getting in schools.
I think
and they were rejecting it, and that's why they're coming out like they are.
And now they're free to say it and not be afraid of the mob. And I believe that is what is going on all levels right now.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by Howes Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
The first of several expected coast-to-coast, fast-moving weather storm systems this week is now making its way from Southern California, expected to be quiet with the exception of
some heavy showers across Southern California, so any of those burn-scarred hillsides from the summer, autumn, or winter wildfires could result in some flash flooding and debris flows.
Yet, as USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey says, a second system reaching the Pacific coast midweek is expected to be more active as it travels across the nation.
Rain and or snow, this is going to be a big wind maker just about everywhere it goes.
Those windy conditions particularly of concern in the southern plains, as that kicks up threats of blowing dust and potential wildfire activity.
As we move into late in the weekend and next week, it looks like more of the same, more storm systems coming into the west and eventually working their way into the nation's midsection.
I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Cronin. I'm Gary McNamara. Rosie O'Donnell has left the country.
Announces Rosie O'Donnell. She has to tell everyone she left. Like, we didn't notice.
She's living in Ireland and is in the process of applying for Irish citizenship.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I renounce beer and Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
And I'm 100% Irish.
Yeah.
O'Donnell said she left the country on January 15th, 5 days before Trump's inauguration.
Oh, okay. All right.
Although I was someone who never thought I would move to another country, that's when I decided what would be best for myself and for the people of the United States. I added that last part.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Carly, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Looking at this here, I just love this. Disney scales back Snow White premiere as controversy surrounding the film grows. Looks like this premiere will not be the fairest of them all.
Oh?
After suffering an intolerable backlash over the forthcoming live-action Snow White, Disney has decided to scale back its usual over-the-top premiere in Los Angeles, reported Variety yesterday. Instead, the studio has allegedly opted for a quiet, laid-back pre-party screening. Unlike the usual red carpets, the Snow White stars will not be answering questions from dozens of different media outlets, as Disney has allegedly handpicked only a select few photographers and a house crew to cover the high-profile event. Disney did not comment when contacted for comment. The Post reached out to the actors' reps, did not hear back from them. Snow White will hit theaters on March 21st. However, the film has been bombarded with controversy following the decision to replace the fairy tale's seven dwarfs with magical creatures of all sizes and genders.
Okay.
Many accuse Disney of being too politically correct and woke. Others took issue with one of the actors, a Latina actress, being cast as the lead. Wow. Oh. But it's just literally no offense to anyone, but I was taken back a little when they were very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, said Peter Dinklage, who has dwarfism.
Yeah, Dinklage.
Dinklage? What did I say?
Drinkage.
Oh, I saw an R in there. Sorry. Dinklage.
Mm-hmm.
There is no R in there, Gary. I'm having the same problem you're having.
Maybe you should stop all the drinkage.
I need to stop the drinkage.
Yeah.
See, I'm still thinking about the Rosie O'Donnell story.
Yeah.
You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that effing backward story about seven dwarfs living in a cave together. What the?
Yeah, right.
They can't even. They put out a movie. They can't even promote it. Think about it.
Well,
we can't market what we're putting on the screen.
You're going to take a story that the left says is highly offensive, and we're just going to make it somewhat offensive.
Yes.
According to the left standards. Why did you do the movie at all?
And then one of the actors, let me see here, Rachel Zegler.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea who she is. You know who she is? I don't know.
No.
Okay. She responded to the criticism by claiming it was taking a different approach to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the 1937 film. She has faced her own criticism after she spoke out against those who voted for Donald Trump in 2024 and calling the animated Snow White extremely dated. She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. Wow. She said back in 2022.
But what about Snow White? You know,
it's an exaggeration. Isn't it an exaggeration to claim that she's pure?
Wow. She had 7 live-ins. That's all I'm saying about that.
Oh, my goodness. I love the left.
Was one of the dwarfs named Frisky? I forget their names. Anywho, But Hollywood does this a lot, where they come in and they want to take this big legacy story, right? A legacy name, but we're not going to do it that way. Well, can you imagine? 20 years from now, we are redoing John Wick. Instead of guns, he's going to wear gloves, and anytime he's fighting someone, he will just take off the one glove and slap the other person with the glove.
Violence.
It will
not be tolerated.
We will not be shooting anyone. I mean, are you going to do if you don't want to do the movie, don't do the movie.
That's great, though. They put together a movie. They attempt to be politically correct. They can't sell being politically correct.
Well,
and then in order to be politically correct, they have to change the whole concept of the entire story. They basically have to use at least part of the name, but change the story completely.
Right.
And then they tick everybody off to the point where they can't market their product that they're trying to sell.
If you're going to redo a story, let's start with Back to the Future and call it what it should have been called, Back to the Past. That was the whole point.
It's true. We did go back.
What? Yeah, we're going back to the 50s. Okay, so Back to the Past. We'll call it. No, we're going to call it Back to the Future.
Well, they called it Back to the Future because they didn't want to acknowledge that they were going back to the racist past.
Exactly. Right. They wanted to sound more progressive by calling it Back to the Future, which was stupid. And I mean, they can't help themselves.
And
this is Hollywood DEI for you right here. Oh, we're not going to do that story. Yeah, but you're calling it Snow White. You're still calling it Snow White. By the way, just do a movie with, I don't even know what Snow White's real name was. I don't even know if they ever, I know Sneezy and Doc. I know two of the dwarfs. Grumpy, Frumpy.
Grumpy was one, yeah.
Frumpy,
Grumpy
yeah,
one.
and Frumpy.
Was Frumpy one?
Frisky.
I don't remember.
Whichever ones.
Rudolph.
Oh, no, I'm Blitzen.
He was a drinker.
Exactly. Blitzed but you're not doing, it would be like, all right, but you still want to call it Snow White. Well, yeah, but it'll be nothing like Snow White.
Why are you
doing
want to make sure we call it Snow White so the traditionalist out there, the person who knows and pays attention to fairy tales, will come to the movie that's got nothing to do with Snow White.
Well, it's like, we're going to redo Jaws. Yeah, but it's going to be about a little girl buying a betta fish. and we're going to use a classic line. Daddy, we're going to need a bigger bowl. I mean, what are you doing? If you're not going to do it, then don't do it. It's okay to not do it. In fact, I've found in life the easiest thing to do in life is not do something. There are, in fact, most things I have not done. In terms of all the things that have been done in the world, I'm the champion of not doing things. Just ask my wife. Wow. It's just, I don't know why because they had meetings. But you know what happened at the meetings? This is exactly what's wrong with it. The DEI came into play. Well, okay, first of all, right out the start, boom, we're not doing the Seven Dwarfs thing. All right, okay. So what else? Well, it's going to be more of a feminist kind of role of her being a leader. You're basically, you have gotten so far away from the story. If you don't like the storyline, don't want to retell the story, I get it. Okay, fine. You're saying in 2025, we can't float that story. People aren't going to. It's outdated. Whatever. I see why Hollywood doesn't want to do that. Then don't do it.
Well, when you see because of the increase in technology and even AI and everything else that exists out there, either Hollywood has to change. I mean, we talked about the Oscars and how you had to fit the formula of, what segment of the population that you had in as, performers, actors, or whatever in it. But the fact is, it's easier to produce movies than ever before. And I just see the fact that you're going to get independent filmmakers and independent companies. I know that right where I live, in the town that I'm living in, or the town that I live next to, they're building a huge movie studio here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I see it branching out all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be with AI and everything, it's going to be cheaper to make movies. And so people are going to make movies that they know are going to sell.
Mm-hmm. And they don't have to go out and they don't have to spend $200 million to make them, and they don't have to recoup $200 million at the box office.
Right. And they can sit there and say, well, we know what people like, and we can get, our, the labor cost for the star will be, the thing that will cost us, but we can cut down on so much stuff, but we can look and we know it's easy to figure out what the public wants.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The,
it's very simple.
The public wants really great action films.
Right. Yeah.
And great animation films.
Silly comedy.
For the kids. Silly comedy, exactly.
Right.
They don't wish to be lectured that how they're living their life is wrong. They don't need a lesson from Hollywood. They want to be entertained.
Right.
And that's what you saw from the last Top Gun.
Get
Remember
creative.
That?
But the problem is the creativity is all depleted in that room where you're trying to satisfy DEI.
Yeah, and they're not letting go of it in Hollywood.
No. If anything, that's the last bastion of it, of DEI, is Hollywood.
Well,
they believe they're the saviors.
We thought that liberalism, we look at a couple of points they've gotten to, that liberalism now has gotten to the point where they can still tax people, but they can't even spend it. And we saw it with the Biden administration.
Right.
3 years. Not one person was hooked up to broadband. They never started the work on it.
Right.
They couldn't. They collected the money. They're still able to do that. They are such in a circular firing squad, they couldn't spend it. And here, you've got Disney produces a movie that nobody likes, nobody's in agreement with, to the point where they're going to release the movie, but basically do no promotion for it. So your product, you're saying we're not going to mark the product that we're producing. That's insanity.
Right.
And nobody stands up and says, this is the last one. We can't do this anymore.
Right. How long before it all implodes? I mean, seriously.
I mean, it's insanity. It really is.
That's why I love YouTube.
You're right.
I can watch a guy fishing. I know what he's doing.
But you're right.
I can. It's even if the thumbnail is clickbait, I know what's going on in the video. I know exactly what to expect.
Yeah. And I can still find the content that I want and I enjoy.
Yeah.
That entertains me.
Yeah.
866-90 Red Eye.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome. Thank you for being here today. Another great show. Coming up this week, what's going on today? Is there testimony? No. I'm sorry. It's Thursday, I think, that the Canadian reps are supposed to meet with the American reps on trade.
Right.
It's Thursday, not today.
It was, the word was many Canadian reps have been traveling to the nation's capital over the last few weeks trying to work all this out. But this is going to be, I guess, an official sit-down of, what's to be done. So the question would be, what comes to that? That's quite often when Trump's tone will change on things, right, after a meeting. If he believes, well, with the exception of one Ukrainian leader, he often will, hey, it was very productive. We think we're going to, do a great deal and that whole thing. We'll see. Will they be talking about a totally revised USMCA, by the end of it? All right, we're going back to the table, and I don't know. Nobody knows. But I do suspect, I sense that at the White House, they're looking at this, and they would like to get most of this behind them. However it's going to go, even with tariffs in place, get it done and get it over with.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.